So this week we're discussing about unmanned aerial vehicle operators, and this one strikes home for me because being in the Air Force, to be a drone pilot, it's usually you have to be a commissioned officer and that you have to go through pilot training to operate those. Well, since the whole pilot shortage is going on, at least for the Air Force, they're now accepting enlisted people to become drone operators. So I've looked into this a lot. There's a great growth in it on the outside market, especially for contractors to help the government with maintaining them, flying them, teaching how to fly them. And it's definitely something to look into for the future. When it comes to pay scales, the one that I can find easily that's very accurate is the government one, where if you were to come back as a government employee, you go off of a GS pay scale, which is kind of a rank. Well, it's a rank structure, and you would start out at a GS9 and you can work yourself up to a GS14, which correlates to around $50,000 at the bottom end to $130,000 at the top, which is a pretty decent income. Also, a lot of the services on the outside of the military, I keep saying outside, but in the civilian market, you got Hollywood, you got commercials, producers, you've got any kind of like sporting events and stuff. They usually will have drones there, and they need operators, which is another avenue that's growing dramatically right now. Things I didn't know that I thought was interesting that I found, that most of these places require that you have a private pilot certificate before you go through training to operate a drone, which I never thought of. I always thought that if you're going to be flying, what I would see in my mind is like a toy or just a drone in general, that you wouldn't need a private pilot's license. But the more I thought about it and looked into it, it makes more sense, because you need to know about TFRs, you need to know about airspace. Now, other aircraft are working around the area you're going to be operating a drone. With that in mind, they also want to see that you have progression in piloting, that you have a minimum of about 100 to 200 hours. They would like some school or from a college at a minimum for an associate's. And also, another big market for being an operator is the sensor operator, because on the larger drones like the Predator, which the Border Patrol is starting to use a lot more now on our border, is you have a person that flies it, and then you have another person that runs the sensors, which is the cameras or the infrared tracking. Since the multitasking would be hard for just a single pilot to do, you got a sensor operator. That's another avenue to go into when it comes to these drones. So it's a very interesting career field. I've been interested in it for a while. It's just I've decided to pursue actual flying in the aircraft instead of being outside. So thank you for watching, and can't wait to see you guys' videos.